Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about progression, and we have right now
Angel's here. First time on a podcast. I'm very excited. I can't wait.
My name is Steven Sanchez. You guys can find me on Instagram, energy_Steven.
My name is Paul Castle. Find me on Instagram at Call Avery Castle.
Yeah, guys. You see them
Wait. And you can follow me, Angel, NFG_Angel with 2 L's. 2 L's. Remember that.
So yeah, you see today we're having 3 people, different perspective from every single guy.
Well, you know what, guys?
I have more of a question for you guys. To see what's your take on this progression stuff. Like, I think, to be honest, progression starts with just awareness, understanding kind of where you are, and understanding that you're always gonna have to try to learn something new. And where did that start for you guys? Where like, oh man, I need to actually get better, because that's what it is. Progression is about actually applying more skills and more knowledge into your brain.
I really wish you guys were in front of me so I could just raise my hand. But Cole, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, Nolan. I was just about to actually say exactly what Steven said. Exactly that. That's
beautiful, because I actually wanted to ask what it meant to you guys. Progression. What does that word meant? And we're sort of seems like in the same page. I like that. You know, I'm excited. I'm gonna go because I'm already talking, and pretty much progression is being, like you said, awareness. Is able to fall down 7 times, like the cliche quote that everybody uses, fall down 7 times and stand up 8, and see how you're progressing. Enjoy the progress. You go to the gym, you go on a diet, and you won't get results in a week or 2 weeks. It's not a 7-minute ad program where you get abs in 7 minutes. That's bullshit. It's about putting in the work, falling in with the process. 3 months from now, you'll be able to see the results. I think that's what progression is. Being in that moment and then seeing the expectations based on the work that you put in.
Yeah, and also implementing it into your life rather than just hearing it, seeing it, and then not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point of learning something and not applying it to your life. You're just, what's the point?
Would you consider it learning it if you don't do it?
I consider it, there's a very famous quote for this, Cole. They say, why isn't a librarian rich? I mean, they're in the library. They could read any book that they want. They probably are library because they like reading. That's their environment. Why aren't they rich if they have access to all the knowledge? Well, because some of them don't apply it to their life. Some of them learn it, they can read it, they can see it, they can smell it, they can feel it. But if you're not taking action and just listening to a podcast like this about people talking about how to improve your life or progressing or bettering something, and you're not taking action on it, then you should stop watching it. It's like you're watching Netflix and you scroll down through a whole bunch of videos, you see a whole bunch of things and nothing, because you're still on that couch flipping through Netflix, not doing anything. And that's where I think awareness is the biggest key to that topic. And I'm actually really happy that you said that, Steven.
That too, like I noticed at a very young age that progression was something that was always going to happen, no matter even if you didn't want progression or not. Because back when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, I'm thinking to myself, like, why do I go to 4th grade? What do I have to do to get to 4th grade? And there's certain things that I have to do and pass and understand for me to keep going on this road of grades, you know, and just applying all this stuff that they're telling me, put it on a test. If I pass, then I get to the 2nd or 3rd grade. So right there, that's when I understood that you can actually progress even if you kind of don't want to. It's just always going to happen. Like when you grow, your body's progressing without you even noticing and out of your control as well. So like there's little things that progress has always been there, but as you grow up, depending on like all the different factors or how people have kind of in a sense like what's the word? Basically, like with everything that's been happening to you, you create yourself out of those experiences. So, for example, if your parents has been telling you all these years, go to college, go to college, go to college, right? There's going to be a certain limit to that progression, because after you go to college, there's nothing else after college that everyone else has told you about, that you have to keep progression, you have to keep progressing, you have to keep progressing. That does not exist. I've never heard that, where after college students go out there and learn even more at the same rate that they were in college.
Steven, I had this since before we even talked about doing a topic on progression in a podcast. It's my first one, a little nervous and not sure how to go about this, but earlier my nephew asked me, I want to get into beats. I want to learn about music production and I want you to teach me. I told him, listen, one game, Kobe was missing all his 3-pointers and everybody was pissed off at him. And then Shaquille O'Neal said, hey, Kobe, I see what you're doing. Keep going. And he kept missing the threes, but he kept going. Now we look at him as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. What I wanted to talk about initially was how I saw you progress and how I saw myself progress. Remember those times in school where you were that guy? I was that guy who, Steven, and you really experienced this as well. I was the guy who wanted the attention, wanted to have friends. I wanted the girls. I wanted to do so much that I did whatever it took to get the attention. And then you were the guy who nobody even knew existed in the school except the quote unquote nerds. Like, I saw your evolution from that guy to being the most popular kid in school to quote unquote popular, you know, because you talk to everyone. You were the most social person. I saw that guy who was frail and skinny that looked like he could break a bone if he punched a wall or something. And I had anger problems. I would punch walls too. I mean, you didn't do that, but I did. But seeing you progress into boxing, where you were able to get into the ring, take the hits, develop your body, all this stuff. Were we aware that we were progressing, or we were just ambitious? Were we aware, like, was that just something that you just wanted to do, or did you know how that was gonna affect you?
Well, when it came to like just being sociable, I knew there was a progression of something that I needed to get better on, because boxing opened up my eyes with progression even more, because I knew that if I could practice this, then I get better at it. So after that, it kind of just became logical that if the more I work on a certain thing, the better I get in that certain thing. But specifically, like I was saying, like in second or third grade, I knew progression existed, because I'm over here passing grades, and then my parents are in the same situation. With every year that I have in my life, my situation is different, and my parents' situation has always been the same.
Right.
So I kind of just became aware of that, and knowing that progression does exist, and it's something that you either work on, and whatever you want to work on. For example, I wanted to progress on boxing. All I had to do is put the time into it, and things would just happen. Especially with pickup, like it was very, very. It was eye-opening to see that all the work that I put in actually gave me the results I always wanted.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to sum up what Steven basically just said in a quote, I guess you could say. Basically, the secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good quote.
Very beautiful. And I actually have something to say right after I ask you this question, Cole, because it's very important to me just to understand this, because I'm understanding myself a little bit better, and I'm progressing. Quote, it's stupid, it's cliche, but it's true. We're still in this moment. Cole, I met you when you were like, what, 15, 14 years old?
Yeah, then.
I was the oldest kid in that neighborhood, and I felt so freaking different from everybody there. I mean, it was completely ridiculous. I came from the city. It's a small town, countryside, where the kids, instead of smoking weed, they would actually chew tobacco. That was disgusting. It was completely new. I see a group of 40 kids riding bikes, and I see you as the leader, and I was like, what makes this guy so special? And I asked you, do you know who Ty Lopez is? You look like an entrepreneur and this and stuff, because you have leadership skills, and you're like, who, Tory Lanez? And I was like, Tory Lanez, are you serious? This kid doesn't know anything. I was like, this kid doesn't know anything. A couple years go by, we become best friends, and you're leading people from St. Cloud all the way to Orlando and bikes and making this huge impact, even showing up on the news. How did you come from, and then your clothing, and then making your brand? How did you go with having no entrepreneur vision or skills and seeing that you were just leading a group of kids off the streets, off the drugs, off this stuff, just making a movement to that person that you wanted to be and seeing these skills? Like, were you aware of any of that?
No, but I'm actually going to say another famous quote that Martin Luther King said. I had a dream.
That's a quote?
Yeah, that's my quote.
Yo, honestly, I want to add to that quote because Angel was explaining that, and the only thing I could think about is the book that I'm actually reading at this very second. I'm not reading it right now, but like today I was reading this book. This is the next book that I've been reading. It's about the magic of thinking big. And I can see that you being that little and having huge dreams. The quote goes by think little goals and expect little achievements. Think big goals and win big success. Oh, yeah. But for you to build big success, you really have to believe in what you're doing and what you're actually trying to do. And you believed in it in so much that when other people saw how much you believe in your own dream and own goal, they reflected on themselves and said, man, I wish I had that type of confidence. I wish I had a big goal like him. I want to actually be in this type of environment. And I feel like those little kids saw that from you in a very unconscious mind and saw that they needed to be surrounded by you because you had big dreams, and that was so inspirational to them.
And I actually experienced that. Just to add on out of my own personal experience, I didn't ride bikes. I just started smoking cigarettes. I was lazy. I was scared. I was riding bikes with this man, going down the streets, and just wanted to be a part of that situation because I saw something special in him. I'm like almost 18 years old or 17, hanging out with 15 and 16-year-olds. But I was learning from him. I was being led. I wanted to be around him. That was so weird for me. So weird. And that it was just something off him, that charisma and that dream, that drive.
And so what you were saying before, like how you kept saying leader, every single time whenever someone would say, oh, is this the leader of the group? I would be like, nope, I'm not even a leader. I'm just a part of it. And I'm,
I know that was also crazy to me because I know some of them did smoke weed. There was a small group, and I was curious. I was like, cool. You smoke? Nope, I don't do none of that shit. You drink? No, I don't do none of that shit. I hate that. Over the years, as your friend and watching you closely, you still don't do none of that shit. You don't care who's around you, and you don't do anything that you don't want to do. You always had that talent, that skill, but did you always have that?
Yeah. Actually, whenever I was a little kid, I had promised my dad one thing, that I wouldn't be a follower and I wouldn't do drugs or drinking all that stuff. And I'm standing by.
I'm proud of you. Proud of that.
Yeah.
And look, on this topic about progression, I think the biggest, like I've told this to Cole multiple times. I told you this before, Julio, and it's so incredible to me the amount of progression you have made from day one all the way to day or the 7th month of you doing this, self-developing yourself. It's been a crazy ride for you. Explain that, how you have progressed that fast, because it's not about doing it fast. Everyone progresses.
You took the words out of my mouth.
In their own pace, but at the same time, it's very, very inspirational to find someone like you where they had such a drive to change that you put everything and effort, every progress as much as possible.
It was beautiful. That you took the words out of my mouth.
Explain that a little bit. What was like that experience? How come you decided to make that change?
I always kept in the back of my mind, slow progress is better than no progress. And like I just kept on going because I knew my purpose. Without struggle, there's no progress in anything.
Yeah.
You have to keep on going and keep on going. Like
no pain, no gain.
Exactly.
Totally.
You might not be where you want to be, but you're not where you're used to be.
Yeah, you're one step closer.
Yeah, and it's just I was
than you were yesterday.
I was very, very determined, focused. I wasn't looking at the short term. I was always looking at the long term.
Yeah.
And that's very important that you said that.
I'm exactly the same. Like you guys said, only has been on this journey for saying like that. for 7 months, and from the day that I changed my mindset, it has always been focused, learning new things, applying new things, not thinking negative and thinking positive and doing things, not going and say, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm doing another thing, So for example, for me, exactly. So for me, it was like, okay, so I'm gonna move to Florida. I'm gonna be focused. I'm not gonna keep doing the same thing.
That's sacrifice.
So yeah, I made a big decision. I moved from Puerto Rico to here to Florida. Things were not doing good in Puerto Rico, and I wanted to change that. I left my wife, I left my kids, but I left because I wanted the best for me and the best for them. And I knew that for me going here, I was like, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna keep doing the same thing that was not making me be successful at all or step closer to my goal. So right now I'm very focused. I'm reading, I'm applying, and that I think that's the best thing that you should be doing if you want to progress.
That's a good take.
Wow. Julito, I know I didn't get to live in Puerto Rico. I know that we're family. I got to see a little bit of how people live. I got to see the news. Every time the news is a murder. It's something dangerous. It's drugs. It's this. It's artists. How was it really living in Puerto Rico and being able to find this thing that kept you moving forward? Even if you would say you were in hell, because I would say I'm from the ghetto, and if you Google or YouTube Connecticut, it's one of the worst states to live in. 16 years old, I seen a fucking guy cooking crack off the spoon behind a dumpster at my first job. I'm over here motivated, going to trying to buy a camera. I'm working really hard. I go throw out the trash from the job, and behind the dumpster, there's a Hispanic Latino cooking crack off a spoon. And that really tore me up inside. I was very confused. Being in Puerto Rico, somewhere that people would say is worse, is scarier, is bad. Did it affect you in any way, or did it just motivate you more? Did you get to progress?
Yeah, since
or not?
Yeah, since
or did it?
I don't know, from when I finished high school or before that, I have always, I love Puerto Rico and all that, but I didn't want to live like all the Puerto Rican lives. All the Puerto Rican lives like, oh, I have to have a job and that's it. They don't do nothing more. They only do jobs 40 hours and that's it. $7.25 an hour per hour and that's it. And from day one, I knew that I didn't want $7.25, bro.
$7.25.
Yeah. From day one, I knew that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
From day one, I knew that I didn't want that. I wanted to change that, and I knew that for me, I wasn't gonna progress in Puerto Rico. I know a lot of persons that have progressed in Puerto Rico, but for me, it was not gonna do it.
Yeah, and I love that though. We're in the same topic, but you bringing up Puerto Rico brings up a whole different idea of actual progression.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, look at how many people, like I said, this is kind of relevant, but it's not. Look at how many people are not on social media like people in America is, right? Look at how many people are not distracted by social media because the social impact in Puerto Rico is way more fluent. Like there's more little kids active in Puerto Rico than America.
Yeah.
And that's just a true fact. So when he came over here, it doesn't come into surprise how focused he was so fucking fast when it comes to changing his life. Because in Puerto Rico, you don't have all these what I would say, all these distractions. Yeah, exactly.
Distractions.
You don't have all these distractions like there is in America because the culture in America is very different from Puerto Rico. So for me, I had a different upbringing. Where since I was 13, 14 years old, I was already getting distracted by social media with Facebook because I didn't understand the culture. But whenever the culture, the culture kind of came to me, the Harper culture came up to me, and I kind of became that. I ran with it, and that affected my. A lot of it affected my my skill to focus. It was never there. It took me a long time to find that skill because since I was little, I've been just not focused at all. I've been just doing things that I never wanted to do because of the culture.
Yeah.
And you coming out of a culture where you're very active since you're little, that's already a skill that you had. And I love that. The minute you're aware of that, the skills that you do have and what you don't have, you can actually work on those.
Bro, and the thing here is that,
That's crazy. I didn't think about that.
The thing is, here in the United States, you have a lot of distractions. It's even more difficult to be it's more difficult to not be distracted here than in Puerto Rico.
Exactly. And especially like me thinking about, because I've been living here in St. Cloud for a little bit. And yeah, there's people on social media, but I bet you that when they were little, there's so many things to do in this town. In schools, so many activities that they get their kids to do. I feel like it's not as distractive as a big city where I lived at, where everything is just a pure distraction. Everyone is a distraction.
Exactly.
So,
It's funny. You brought me memories. I remember when we spent hours trying to talk to the Facebook famous people, or trying to get into that network. Facebook famous, like. That sounds so ridiculous to me right now, because we would actually, who has the most friends? Who is the most known? Who has the first car? In order to be that person. And that person was whoever had the most friends on Facebook and linked with everybody. And then we got Instagram. And then Instagram was where we would spend hours trying to get the most followers, because that was the trend. That's what we were doing. We were so distracted. I mean, I know that progression is something very open.
Yeah.
There's a lot of topics and a lot of skills that actually have to go with progression. And before I get this back on track to a question that I have, like, this is so crazy. I mean, a guidance, a person, something has to impact you in order to go into a direction of freedom, something bigger, something greater. Because some people just, they get a job. They come from Puerto Rico. Example, I had coworkers. I'm getting paid $10 an hour. I'm only 18, and this guy's like 28. And I'm getting paid like $10 an hour. This is it for me. I went to Rent Center. My family got their couch. I'm staying here for a long time. And they're so comfortable with that. And they're so happy with that. But the progression, you can't stay comfortable. You can't stay in one spot. You got to keep going forward. Is it that insane? Steven, I don't know if you really remember this, but I remember one of the last seminars we went into downtown Hartford. The guy said this, and it always stuck with me. You guys talk about winning the lottery, making $1 million. Go talk to some white kids, especially for the young guys. Go talk to some white kids. They're talking about making a lottery. Like, I don't know if I felt disrespected by it at that moment, but I saw that the guidance in our culture or other cultures wasn't there. The person telling us, hey, this is what we should go achieve for.
yeah.
And I saw that from being down in this harsh environment, from me seeing that drug addict behind the store, that this isn't what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
This isn't what I wanted to be. I saw my parents work every single day. Like, I mean, they wanted the best for me. They left Puerto Rico. They wanted me to learn English. They wanted me to get opportunities. But they worked every day, and the family values weren't there. I would play Call of Duty, not knowing what the hell my life was, seeing all these things, this violence, and they weren't there. I didn't have that guidance. But it's the biggest blessing in my life as well, because I saw that I wanted something better. When I became a parent, I wanted something different. That progression state. When do you actually, like, some people just achieve it just like you. Like, Steven, you said, for me to get to the 4th grade, I need to pass this test. Some people just develop that. I just need to do this to get there. Some people have to be impacted. School made a emotional connection. Dad, I'll never be a follower. Like, Julito, he was tired of how he was. Even though he sacrificed to leave his wife to make a better life for himself, he had the emotional connection. I mean, is there ever a point where progression, going further, is that just the key? Would you say it's just the key? Because there's so many things that have to go with this.
Well, the key to what?
Well, like to moving forward, if I wanted to go make $1 million, is progression just the keys? Fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Yeah.
I believe so. I believe it. I believe strongly. I think Cole is a great example of that. Where the thing with Cole, he has a funny story. Matter of fact, Cole, I want to hear your take on this, on that specific question. What's your take on
say that one more time. What was the question?
Is progression just the skill, the key to just move forward, to live your dreams, to get wherever you want to go?
I don't know if I could agree with that or disagree, because in a way it's like a mix, because you're not gonna have just progression in life to actually get to where you want to go. You're obviously gonna have more, you're just gonna have a whole bunch of things all mixed together. With me, I had progression on, my business and all stuff, but I also had skill on like marketing and all that stuff. So it was like a mix. It was like you're still going forward and you're moving forward and you're learning all, the mistakes and all that stuff. But it's just like progress was, a main thing, but at the same time, it was just all mixed, skill. I mean, everyone has, their own skills and everyone has their own, weaknesses and all that stuff. So having that progress, you're basically just putting all skills together to put it in one to move forward. So it's like, what's the definition? What's the definition of discipline? Okay, well, let's just take that. What's the definition of motivation? Okay, let's take that. What's the definition of act? Okay, let's take that. Okay, well, all those are all traits. Okay, well, now you're obviously gonna put them all in one, and that's obviously progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And that's why I feel like progression is definitely a big key to success, because every single person that I look up to, they talk about how progression will be the biggest thing, because if you're not progressing, you're not getting nowhere. And our minds, you basically have to trick your mind, because your mind, what it wants is just to be comfortable. And what do comfortable people do? They're not as successful. They're not people that we look up to. So it's always been there in front of our faces. We just got to do the opposite of what our parents did. Or for me, I have to do exactly what the opposite of my parents did, or what they believe in, the opposite. And they're definitely 100% aware of that, because honestly, it's not an insult to them. It's just they didn't know, they weren't aware. They didn't take the steps to find a way out or find progression, or they didn't really have time to look and see what's possible for them and their big dreams. They didn't have none of that. So
because out of us four right here, we obviously think outside of the box. They were literally taught by school. Go to college. Go to this.
Yeah.
We, go somewhere else. We want to actually, achieve different things and actually progress. Again, progress, that word. Progress in other categories and eras than what they want to do. Go to school, go to college, and go for $20,000, and then go into a career. No, we want to obviously branch out and actually be creative and risky.
I actually have a big question before I share some of my biggest thing with progression, and this thing we call progression. It's for all of you, so you can take your turns. But what was the hardest moment for you to continue progressing? Were you ever stuck? Were you ever at such a big challenge where you just didn't see progression? You didn't see anything, and you felt like, this sucks. Is this ever going to change? Am I ever going to be better in this? Or something relatable to that?
Yeah, for me, it was questioning progression. Questioning if it was going to take me to success. That was it. For me, that was the biggest jump that I had to make, and that happened at a very
honestly, Steven, I completely agree with that one, because I feel like everyone does. I mean, all entrepreneurs, obviously, there's gonna be ups and downs, and trying to make your own business, or not even a business, just being an entrepreneur as is. There's always these ups and downs, and it's just like you're taking that risk rather than actually going to that 9-to-5 job and actually just getting that paycheck, within that week or two. So it's just like having that risk. It's like, am I actually going to be someone one day? I mean, I'm taking 5 years or even 10 years out of my life, and is it going to actually be worth it or not?
The thing about the thing about progressing is that how they say we have our ups and downs, right? But obviously, when we are down, we're like thinking, okay, so how are we gonna take this progression more? Not taking it less. Exactly. We're gonna do it more. So, for example, when you're doing something and you, let's say, have a bad day, you start thinking negative, right? And for example, let's say you're in the sales department or something like that, and you didn't make a sale today. Well, you know that you're going to progress and you're going to continue the other day, and maybe the other day you're going to have sales. That's how you got to think. I don't know, do you guys agree or not?
No, I mean, I completely agree, and it was very interesting for me to hear from you because you've been self-developing and improving your life, your journey in less than 7 months. But it's crazy because I see it from a whole different point of view from all of you. I see it from, I have a lot of family that are not successful. People living off the government state. I got an uncle who lives rent negative. Do you guys know what rent negative is? Rent negative means that he has no rent. As long as he doesn't work and he has no income, the government pays for his house. Wow. That's crazy to me.
What a good life.
And he doesn't want to work. Yeah, he gets a little check, and from the government, he got his food stamps, and he doesn't pay rent. Everything's paid for. He's just smoking weed every day. And I got to see all this stuff, and I got to see my family, and then eventually I got to meet my side of the Arroyos. And it was really hard. My grandpa had to die for the Arroyos to get together. And it was crazy. I mean, the oldest one, which was the sister of my grandpa, she was traveling the world. She got married like 3 times, and she didn't want no man with her. She was like 60 years old, and she's just traveling the fucking world and enjoying herself. This other guy has like 3 karate buildings, franchises in New Jersey. This other guy is building a makeup thing. I was like, wow, these guys are so ambitious. Like, is this in my DNA? Is this why I feel so different? And I got more of a example from the broke side of the family of me not wanting to be like that. I got more of an example from my parents working every day of me not wanting to do that. That's where progression, I became aware of progression. And I was like, instead of questioning progression, I didn't even know progression existed. I saw it as, I don't want this, I want to be like this. I don't want this, I don't want to be like that. Like, it was simple. It was very logical to me that I didn't want to live this way. What can I do different? And that's where progression kicked in. I wasn't aware of this until recently, like not even a year. And I see progression as something that you just want to move on forward. You don't want to repeat a cycle. I didn't see it as, is this going to take me there? Or is this or that? I didn't question it. I just wanted to go and get it. I mean, I remember Steven, bro, you told me, yo, they're hiring at Bertucci's. I wanted to do pickup. All right, perfect place to pick up at the mall after work. So I went to the manager, go talk to him myself. I mean, they're hiring, I'm gonna go. They're doing this, I'm gonna go. It's just something that came second nature to me. I didn't really question it. I mean, Julito, can you relate to that from moving to fucking Florida in less than a month after I just randomly called you, told you about Forex and sold you an entrepreneur dream, and you just decided to leave your life behind and start over? Like, did you really think about, is this gonna take me to where I wanna be? Or did you just say, this is what I want?
No, I just wanted to talk about that because I don't think you were aware. The reason why I told you to go to Bertucci's is for your pickup progression. That was the whole plan. For you to be in a position where you could practice, because I noticed that. And I never read the book Mastery, but it talks about that, how you got to put yourself in situations and circumstances to improve whatever you want to improve. For example, if I want to improve pickup or my social skills, get a job that allows you to improve your social skills. Put yourself in situations where you're actually learning nonstop that certain thing you want to get mastered.
Wow. I mean, I guess maybe I wasn't really aware that I wanted that. I just saw an opportunity to go work with my friend at the mall and pick up. I didn't see it as this is going to take me there. I saw it as...
That was the reason why I got it.
I didn't really analyze it. I just saw it as, I'm going to go do this because I want to. I didn't see a lot of things of... I think it was just a problem for me, and even in high school or middle school, I wanted to go do this, so I went to do it. Nobody could interfere on my wants. I just wanted it. And even now, I could see myself wanting something better or wanting something stupid, and I just go and get it. I say I want to go to Florida, I go to Florida. If I want to stay in Connecticut, I just go. It doesn't click to me, but I enjoy the process.
Yo, Julio, Cole, and Angel, I want to ask you a question to all you guys. What would you say to a person that comes up to you and tells you and asks you, what's the first step of progression? I have big dreams. What do I do? What's the first step? What do I do? What would you say to that person? What would be your answer?
What was the question again?
The question is, if someone came up to you and asked you, what's the first step to progression? What do I got to do to get ahead? I have big dreams. I have big goals. What's the first step?
Start.
As Gary Vee would say it, I would ask the person, how old is the person?
Doesn't matter. 16, 18,
Okay.
20, 25, 30.
I would say,
What? Your answer would be different depending on the age?
it depends. I mean, it's just a Gary Vee example because it's funny. You just reminded me of something. I remember when I was starting to become quote unquote popular, and I was dating Taylor, and I remember how Juan told me, "Hey man, this is the most beautiful girl you ever been with," and I felt like that was my life. I felt like I was in that moment. That meant everything to me. Like, this is my life. This is it. I'm growing. Not even thinking that in a couple of years I got to get my license. I got to get a job. I got to move out. I got to do all this stuff. I didn't even think about that. I was like, I'm living high school. Like, this is my life forever. And I remember taking this grown adult, quote unquote, decision. I told Taylor, hey, listen, I want to go do pickup. And if you're not okay with that, we got to break up. I want to go be a man whore. I want to go record. I want to go do this. And it was like, that decision meant so much to me that I felt like that was the rest of my life forever. Like, I'm gonna die doing this. And then I didn't realize that when I became 20 years old, 21 years old, as the years kept going, that I'm young as fuck. And I can make any fucking decision in the world, and it's never too late. And if I'm 21 and I feel like I lived a whole life, I'm gonna live this life at least 4 more times. Just like Gary Vee says, you got the rest of your life. So this is my advice to you, 16-year-old, whatever, who wants to be an entrepreneur. Go do as many things as possible, as many things, and taste as much network. Talk to millionaires, talk to any entrepreneur vision that you have, whatever they have, whatever skills and attributes that you want to apply to your life. Go search it, go Google it, go find people like that. Go do whatever it takes, especially if you're 16 to 20 and maybe you live with your mom or something like that. Don't be ashamed about it. You have no responsibilities, no bills, nothing to worry about. Go take advantage of everything you have. Don't worry about everybody else, and go experience that life. This might be not, it might be relevant, it might not, but like I tell girls that I had in my past, they would say a lot. It was very famous here in Connecticut. Every guy's the same. I hate every guy. They're all cheaters. I would ask them, anybody that I would encounter and say that, I would say, have you dated every man in the world? No. Have you traveled the world and met every guy? No. Have you done this? No. Well, how can you judge every single guy in the world based on 5 bad experiences? This is where progression comes in as well. The point of dating and the point of self-development, it applies to everything, especially entrepreneurship. You got to go seek out what you like and don't like before, when you go settle down and make the right decision, you already know what you like and don't like. It's like a filter. So I would tell that person to go do a whole bunch of things. Fail.
Yeah, let me do this. So Julio says start. Angel said go get experiences. Yeah. And what's Cole's take? What would you say, Cole?
All right, so what was the question?
God damn it, Cole.
It's a really big progression.
Someone came up, if a person came up to you and asked you, hey, Cole, I have big dreams, but what's the first step? What do I got to do? How do I progress? What's the first step?
Okay. Well, first off, what I would say is step outside your body and look at yourself. Look at yourself very, very thoroughly and actually picture yourself within 5 years of what you're doing right now. What do you see? And if they say, a shitty ass answer, then I would be like, look, the best way to do it is, for one, don't be scared. Everything's going to go up. Everything's going to go down. That's how life is. Life isn't, you're going to get back by people. You're going to get, money by people. Money isn't everything. Money is a tool for all evil, basically. And then I would be like, and give yourself, a mentor, and actually, read some books. Yeah. reading's not everything, because obviously I'm definitely not a reader. What I do is listen to audiobooks. So if you want to do that,
same here.
Because books are probably the most powerful thing that you can have in mankind's hands rather than money. And, be dedicated, don't wake up, like 1 o'clock in the morning, you got to wake up, not early. I mean, you don't have to be early, but I mean, if you want to, be up early, wake up before the stock market comes up. Wake up, get your mind straight, eat a good breakfast and all that stuff, and be motivated and, be ready to learn rather than not do anything. Because if you're not motivated to learn, you're not going to learn anything.
I love that because it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just our own philosophies of how to start, how we will all answer this question differently. And my take on it, how I would answer this question would be, I'll ask that same person, where in your life do you want to progress? What is it about, what aspect of your life do you want to improve? Is it finances? Is it relationships? What is it? And then right there and then I would tell them, progress on that, focus on that aspect in your life and make it better. Because when you figure out how to make that aspect of your life better, now you could use that formula that you use to get that better into different areas of your life. And that's what would be my take.
My answer, to step outside your body and actually look at yourself within the next 5 years. Because
that's really...
They don't see things that could be improved, then they obviously know that they can't be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I like to be very specific because the thing is, like, for me, I've noticed that a lot of people, whenever they don't do anything, like if they've never done anything in their lives, you have to be more specific than ever because you cannot be too broad. If you're too broad, they don't even know, they still won't know how to start. And I've noticed that about people, that sometimes I just have to be very specific.
Yeah. One thing I really wanted to say about this is, man, it's just you. I was really listening to you, Steven, and that just made me forget everything I was thinking about.
There's like different aspects of life?
No, it's more about, how do you say this? Because I feel like we're not talking about progression itself, but more about how progression affected us. And your question came in perfect because you asked, how would we tell somebody else to do this?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I mean, I have these two friends. They're twins. They don't do anything. They want to go out for a ride. They want to go for the adventure, but they don't know what the hell they want in their life. At least from the last time I spoke to them. And I feel like, how can you help somebody who is stuck, who needs the progression, who needs to be aware? How can you open somebody's eyes to say, this is not the only thing we have? I mean, one of my biggest dreams and goals is to one day blow up, become like a Tony Robbins. I don't need the credit. I don't need to be Tony Robbins, but help my community in some way and offer that value of, this is not the only options we have. How can I even explain to them this progression that has happened with me? I mean, you remember, Steven? I mean, when we learned about pickup, we went for a whole year. We went for a whole year with rejections after rejections, getting girls to tell me no in my face. I was 15 years old when I remember I went to a girl in Hollister and I said, hey, what's your name? And she ignored me completely. She kept looking through her clothes and I said, no, not even a hi. And she just said no. And I walked away and I laughed at her. How can you help somebody?
Let me answer that question. So look, it's funny that you say that because this has been very new to me in a sense of just asking that same question to one of my mentors. And my mentor said, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
If you can make someone put different shoes on and see it that same way, their whole mind changes. So your goal should always be, if you're trying to change someone's mind or open up something to them, it's about putting them in a different perspective. For example, the twins, right? You were saying about the twins. I would do this in person. Well, I would allow them and make the best of opportunities. For example, if there was an event going on that same city, I would invite them, take them there, and now they're surrounded by the people they always wanted to be and open their minds a little bit more, little by little. But like I said, it's all about perspective. The more they're surrounded by that environment, because you got to think about this. You can see people's weaknesses the minute you talk to them the past 10 minutes. For example, if I talk to this dude, right, and this dude, all he talks about is his past experiences, I see that his environment is what is affecting him the most. He has a weakness of letting that environment affect him the most, right?
I mean,
so now, what I'm going to do with this person, I'm going to put him in a better environment, because if I put this in a better environment, his whole life is probably going to change. There's people's weaknesses. If you reflect yourself on other people, you're going to see the weaknesses very quickly.
Okay. I mean, and
so that's one aspect of something that I peeped about my own mentors, where they always reflect themselves on their own mentees, and they see your goals, what you're strong on, and your weaknesses, and then they know what kind of word to put you on. Because it's all about, like I said, it's all about perspective.
I want to ask you guys a question that is related, obviously, to this. How we know, this is for all you three guys, how we know we are progressing? How can you tell that we are progressing?
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, I'm going to ask first Paul.
Good question. No, I was just saying that's a good question.
Really great
The way
question.
that I know that I'm progressing is if I know that I'm a better person than yesterday. If I learned something from yesterday, and if I know more about something than yesterday, I know I'm progressing. It could be either, mentally, physically, discipline, whatever the case may be. I mean, all aspects need to be, worked on throughout your life. But if I'm able to know that I improved from the day before, that's when I know I'm progressing.
Angel, what's your take on it?
Huh?
Well, I mean, it's funny, Steven. It comes back to you for some reason, but you're such a great friend. I really want you to know that. Like, I appreciate you, bro. But if it wasn't for that simple pickup video, I mean, we're talking about GTA, bro. We were just like rambling on about gaming, and I thought I was gonna be a game designer. You showed me that one video that took 5 minutes out of my life about these guys approaching girls, doing push-ups in the malls, and having confidence. Guys who were losers. Knowing that I'm progressing is what I'm going through right now. Jason Capital, one of my biggest idols. I remember one of his biographies that he was explaining about his life. He made a lot of money doing a dating website, whatever, helping guys. He went out to California, started smoking weed every day. He still smokes weed, but at night in a very balanced way. But he lost it all. He spent all his money. He lost everything, and he had to fly back to his mom's house with it, like, and I quote, in between two fat girls taking up all the armrests, couldn't even put elbows down. It's crazy, right? And then I see myself progressing, having everything, throwing parties, being the guy I wanted to be, and then losing it all because of mistakes. And then I go back to my mom's house. And it's funny, the last time I came to my mom's house, which was 3 months ago, I was in between, and I'm sorry about saying this, I'm gonna be a little vulgar here, but I was in between two older women, like 80 years old, I would say, maybe 60s, 70s. They're very, very old. And they stink, and they smelled really bad. And I was in this cheap $30 flight from Spirit. And I knew at that moment, wow, I didn't see it as I failed. I didn't see it as this is the worst day of my life. I didn't see it like I lost everything. I saw it like, all right, let's get back. I'm gonna do this shit again. I'm gonna see this shit again. And then I do other things. I mean, I see myself in situations where I want to spend money. I want to do this. I want to do things that I've done in the past that messed me up. And I say to myself, and it's crazy, bro. This is why I said it comes back to you. I say, would Steven do this? What would Steven say about this? If I did this, how would this affect? Like, how would this affect me in general? If I did this mistake and it brought me here back again, and I don't want to go through this again, how can I impact myself? If I want to go buy a video game, what value is that going to bring me? And I could see myself not wanting or chasing the things, or at least stopping to breathe before I make a decision, because I'm impulsive.
Yeah, and that's a good reflection too, Angel. That's a really good reflection, because I seen and imagine what would it do if you found people that had different strengths that you admire. For example, for me, I hold myself very accountable for certain things, and I see that you admire that from me. Like, there's a specific skill about me that you admire, and that's why you think about me with certain things like that. Like, for example, just being accountable for the things that you're buying or putting your time into, which I respect that, right? And I always tell people, if you want to get even better, find other people that have different strengths, right, that you want, and look at how much you're gonna grow. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you're growing a lot with accountability in certain things, because you think about me, I guess, or
I think about
certain things
Jesus.
that I've done in
I
the
think
past,
about
which is
me.
really
I think
good.
about my past. I think about
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, and to answer that question, because that was a good take, Andrew. And what the question was, how do you know you're progressing? I've always had that in the back of my head of like, progression doesn't happen in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, depending on what you're trying to progress on. And I always said, for me to see progression, I noticed that I just get different results. That's when I know I'm progressing, when I get different results. Because if you're doing the same old, then you're going to get the same result. And that's called insanity. That's called insanity. Trying to find a different result when you're doing the same thing. So when I know that I'm exactly when I'm throwing that 1-2 punch, right, in practice, and then I do it in the ring, and it is effective, and the result comes out, I know I'm progressing. It's the same thing with different aspects of my life. Dating. The more women I got, the more I knew that I was progressing, because everything that I'm doing is working. Everything that I'm taking in is working, and I'm applying it. So that's the way I measure
guys.
progression.
Yeah, basketball. And Kobe and all his flaws, his 1,000 shots, losing, wanting to win it, and then winning it.
But Steven knows what I'm talking about, though. Late nights.
I'm so jealous. Jealous.
Dude. Honestly, dude, I honestly look. In just 2 days, I saw a lot of progression, and that's incredible. Like, just seeing the results, bro. Like, Cole, I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. There's certain things that I've been doing in the court that I couldn't do before, but it has to do with the past 3 days. For sure. No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I don't know if you're a basketball player, but I've always sucked at sports, like, except boxing. Boxing and skateboarding, that was my thing. I could do that any day. But like basketball, I always thought that I was gonna be bad. I always thought that, my dad didn't play basketball. All my uncles did, but my dad didn't. So this is just not a sport that runs in my traits, my genes. And maybe do you play basketball? Because I know you're more of a computer guy.
Yeah, I don't play any sport. I'm not good at any sport.
Hell no.
That's crazy, because like you're from Puerto Rico, No, I'm kidding.
I know what you did at, though.
This is what I'm.
And we all get to the gym. I think we.
Oh yeah, I was in the gym, and yeah, that was the only sport that I was good at. That's the only one.
Yeah, and you know why? You know why I know that? Because your mental game and your mental strength. I knew that if you go work out, you mentally get stronger.
And this is actually where I was going to leave my point, Julito. The reason I ask you is because I started playing basketball about 4 months ago. I was playing against Steven and the guys from the court every day. It is a really peaceful town, so there's a lot of people that go to the court. And I'm the worst. I believed I was the worst player. And I saw myself starting to play 2K. I saw myself watching the videos. I saw myself analyzing the game, seeing what other people did, practicing it. Even if I didn't have the ball in my hand, I would start, airballing. I've now in my job now, currently, sometimes I'm bored. I go down the hallway. I go do a fake move and I shoot the ball. And it's like, 2 days ago, I was going to the store. There's these kids in the court playing ball. The ball comes to me, and I go shoot it. Kind of far a little bit, past the 3 line. But I shoot it, and I make it. I'm like, whoa, how did I set up that quick, and how did I do this? And I saw myself progressing. It's like, honestly, I feel like you can do anything if you put your passion into it. If you make it your passion. Like,
exactly.
There's nothing that we can't do. I honestly feel like that, guys. It's just like the movie Avatar with the aliens or whatever. I feel like that was us, where we were in sync with nature and we could do anything. We could fly birds and stuff, but we lost this talent due through the generations of technology of making things easier. 7-minute ads where people just wanted things faster and not work for it. Just buy it. I mean, it's.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because 100 years ago, the country was progressing every single year. The government, everyone's life was always progressing back in the day. And I think we lost that trait. We definitely lost trait. And the only people that are I think the only people that striving right now are the ones that are very different and focus on progression. You know, you cannot hide progression. You cannot. If you want success, you're gonna have to progress. There's no way you hiding it.
Now think about
There's no way you skip on that.
What, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, Stephen Curry didn't have a proper shooting point.
That's a big one.
Now look at him now.
That's a big one because this brings me back to an old conversation with Steven, how even knowing that, just Stephen Curry changed the generation. Was he good back then? I don't know his history. Tell me a little bit about his history.
He was good, but he definitely didn't have the shooting percentage like he does now. He didn't have the proper shooting way how he does now.
Definitely before college, he wasn't as good as he is. Like college, he destroyed it. That's when people like noticed him, but he was so little. All he had was a shot, and the reason why it was so hard for other people to like just accept him for who he was, it was because people were thinking that him shooting like that in college, people in the NBA won't let him shoot like that.
And
look at
on top of that too,
crazy.
And on top of that too, think of all the people like Trae Young, Kyrie Irving. Hold on, now with them too.
Yes,
Kobe was teaching them. Kobe taught them and stuff, and they went from good. They were good.
Kobe taught a lot of people in the NBA
do better. It was a Mamba mentality.
Okay.
I feel like
okay, guys. Exactly. I have another question for you. What do you do when you see that you're not progressing?
What?
Yeah.
When I notice that I'm not progressing, I notice it very fast. Like I said, it's really about awareness, knowing that if you're progressing or not. But when I know that I'm not progressing, I gotta do more. You know, I gotta pick up a book. I haven't read anything in a couple of days. Probably, you know, I just notice what I'm doing. Because the thing is, it's like, bro, honestly, I realized that a lot of my skills and a lot of my development, I feel like I've been very slow in my development because of my foundation. I haven't built a really good foundation. And now that I've built a really good foundation, I can progress even faster, in a very, very accurately, which I really love, right? But you know, I notice if I'm progressing or not progressing,
I feel like
very
if you're
quickly.
not progressing at all, you're not living and actually living. Because there's no way that you're not learning something a day. There's no way that you're not even pursuing anything a day. Like you're obviously, whenever you go to wake up, you obviously have to, you know, wake up and actually do something in your life rather than, you know, be home and do nothing. You progress every single day. You get faster at anything, but it could be locking the door. You progress in locking the door. You put the key right in the, you know, the hole and all that stuff, and you locked it faster. You know, it's just, you know, all on mentality and mental, you know, awareness that you obviously, you know, you did something better than you did the day before.
My biggest question that I feel like I think you guys may struggle with it, but it's something I realized very, very recently, and which I love because this is something that I can share to everyone, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. My main question, I think one of the most important, the most important question I'm going to ask you guys individually is, how do you fall in love?
It's almost like falling in love with your dream. You dream about it and you continue it, and you're very motivated and passionate on something. And then obviously with that, it obviously comes with passion, you know, and progression and all that stuff. Everything, you know, comes together. It's almost like, as I said before, motivation, dedication, discipline, all that stuff. It's just like everything's coming together and you're focused on one thing. If you're focused on one thing and you're actually doing better at it every single day, you know, step by step, you're obviously going to, you know, fall in love with it and actually achieve what you're wanting to do. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta fall in love with progression if you wanna get your goal, you know, because if you don't have progression, and exactly like that.
Yo, I could rap that thing. I could rap the whole entire freaking thing,
but like, how,
start hitting shots at you, man.
But how do you fall in love with it though? I see the benefits of falling in love with progression, but what's the first step to actually loving the process, loving progression?
If you don't have a passion or a dream, you're not gonna fall in love with it. If you have a dream and you're actually, you know, accomplishing it and actually achieving what you're wanting to do in life, and you're actually able to make a difference, I mean, whatever difference you're wanting to do, you know, anything, you know, it's just having that momentum of actually going from point A to point B and keep continuing until you're at your end point. That's just of that you have with the whole thing.
Yeah. So give me a strategy. Give me something that you do every day. Like let's say you're doing something for your business that has to be done because, like I said, you haven't got the big results that you want, right? Because you're building up and building the foundation up, and you're getting small results here and there because those are very important. It's gonna get you to the big one. But what's one thing you do every day, or what you did today or yesterday, that you're just loving the process?
Being
What
creative and not and knowing
every
that
single day to love the process.
Anything can be possible. Anything that you make can go off. It's almost like the fidget spinners. He made that person made that only for special needs people, but it went off because everyone liked it and all stuff. So I feel like if I'm creative enough and actually putting my brain and my girlfriend, I think we would make something very, very good. So it's just like having that that persuasive mindset, because like I have a goal on what I'm going to do, and if I'm not going to accomplish that goal, then I'm obviously not doing something right. So with all that, creative, and I'm very determined on doing it and stuff. So it's just like everything's all mixed together. So it's either one way or another. You either go ahead and you keep on going and you keep achieving stuff, or you just don't. It's one way or another. Life isn't fair. That's just how it is. Come on, Steven.
So, Angel, what's your take on that?
Bro.
I think there's no choice. I don't think that this is a do or do if you want to have success. You gotta fall in love with progressing. If you don't fall in love with progressing, you're not gonna get any success.
How do you do it? How do you do it though?
How do I do it?
Yeah. How do you fall in love with progression? Like I said, we all know it's beneficial. We all know we got to do it. But how do you fall in love with progression?
Okay. So you're telling me technically what do I do technically to progress, right?
No, I'm not telling you how to progress. I'm telling you how do you have fun with progression? What makes you, like, for example, if me personally, I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. If I'm not into something, I'm not gonna do it. Honestly, I'm really not gonna do it. If I don't like building houses, I'm just not gonna do it, right? And I don't care about how much time do I have. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care about the progression. I don't care about nothing. I just don't want to do it, right? But me building a business, there has to be a lot of progress to building that foundation, to building that business, to building the business, right? So how do you fall in love with the process of building?
For me, for example, I want to help people. So that's technically my motivation. So every single day I try to learn something new about it. And I think it's most of having a focus to it, You gotta be focused on what you want, and that's how you progress.
But my take would be, yo guys, by the way, this is definitely a very productive podcast. I gotta say, man. Like, now, hopefully, a lot of people took a lot of value from this podcast for sure. Because I want to ask this to Angel.
You said,
I know you're probably gonna talk about something about pickup for sure. How do you fall in love with progression? Yeah. I got it. And honestly, bro, like, think about it, bro. Like, playing basketball, the amount of things that we've been able to do this past 2 days, I fall in love with it, and I fall in love with the process. I fall in love with the process of actually getting better, because you start noticing little things, little mistakes, and then when you figure out those mistakes, it allows you to put time into fixing those mistakes, and you feel some type of satisfaction from fixing those. Like, it feels so good to fix that and get the results you actually wanted.
Yeah.
I like that. And if you kind of have that mindset in different aspects of your life, like, it's just definitely a fun process. But like, my full answer would be, if you know your purpose and you're getting closer to that purpose, that is progress. That is process.
Yeah.
That is fun. That is satisfying. That is happiness. Right? Because if you have a purpose, and every day you're trying to get closer and closer, you feel some type of satisfaction there. Like, oh my God, I'm getting closer and closer. Especially with your big goals, right? Cole, big business, he's doing the little things to get to the big thing, and it feels you feel some type of energy that no one could really feel except you, because you're getting closer to your own specific goal. You know what I'm saying? and no one could take that away from you. You know, all that energy that you have, like, bro, like I'm getting closer and closer to my vision, bro. There's some energy
true.
that you cannot.
It's crazy. I get
to.
very, very excited every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was really rough for me to fall in love with the progress that didn't have to do with pickup. I set my mindset on that one thing, and everything else just it felt weird. Even going to the gym, I remember recording for Alan a lot, and I wanted a better body. I wanted to look good. I wanted to lose weight, but I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I would look in the mirror every day, and I did not see it. And now I'm able to go see the long-term effect and able to basically fall in love with the progression. You should think about the long-term, not think about the now. It's basically like investing. You're putting this in now, and in a couple months or a couple years, this is going to be the outcome. Depending on how much you work, how much you do this and that, it's just an investment, a sacrifice. And in order to fall in love with the process, you got to think about what it's going to look like when you're done. I don't think it's as for some people it's as easy as you just go, and this is what I want to do. I mean, it works for some, and it's freaking amazing. I mean, I even have the Alan. He used to go to the gym. It would be a snowstorm, and he'll still take the bus to go work on his body. That's what he wanted. That he couldn't go to sleep without hitting the gym at least once a day. That was freaking amazing. And I mean
that I feel like that came from habit. You know, he built a habit, and to the point where that habit became something a part of him, and it didn't become a habit anymore. It just became a part of him. And that's usually what happens when you create new habits for yourself. You know it's not how to do that. I didn't know. You know it's a habit when you don't even have to think about it. For example, us talking on the phone. I was doing this podcast, and you're walking around the house, unconsciously, you're walking, and you have a habit of walking, right? Yeah. But you don't realize it. That's the same thing with habits. You replace a habit and create a new one. The minute you don't find that habit anymore, it has become something part of you. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that at first we wanted to make something big out of it. And that was my answer to that question, where if you're trying to find something, well, let's say you have a purpose, right? And for you to get closer to your purpose, there's things you got to do, and that's progress, right? And the more you progress, the closer you get. There's a specific feeling that you get that gives you more energy to do more. You know, so if you think about your purpose every single day, and you're getting closer and closer to it, you're just going to want to keep progressing faster. You're going to try to keep progressing faster just to get to that point. And that's kind of like my answer to that question.
Yeah. I guess I didn't see it at that moment because based on the person I was, but eventually it became clearer to me, just my habits and my morals.
But yeah, like, dude, honestly, I think, I don't know. You guys let me know if we hit the angles we had to hit when it comes to progression, because progression is definitely a big topic, and it's something that it's one of the keys to become successful and achieve the things you want to achieve. Yeah, it's like you can't ignore success. You cannot cheat success. It's the same thing. You cannot cheat progress. You got to do it. It's so easy to do and fall in love with it. That's why I feel like that was just the most important question for me. How do you fall in love with the progress? You know, so
okay, I have a question for you guys. Do you think that progress is something that you can teach?
Oh no, for sure. In my opinion, it's like lead by example. If you're trying to progress every day and the level that you're in, for example, if you're making, I don't know, $100 million, and there's someone that wants to be mentored by you, and you show them that you're still trying to progress, they're going to see right there and then that, okay, I'm going to have to apply that because he's doing that and he's making $100 million. I'm making like $60,000 a year. That means it's one of the keys of how it got him there, progress. But that's my take on it.
Can I teach progress?
Yeah. How can you, let's say you wanted to teach that progress is very important. How do you teach it to someone else?
by exclusively showing them the different fundamentals and actually having different results, in which having that results is basically showing the progress in which you could actually implement into their life.
Okay.
Boom.
That's a sign I never saw it. I actually want to add to what I was saying about how to teach other people how to progress is listen to this podcast. I think that's my second answer.
Yo, but
listen to this podcast.
Good though.
What's that?
I like my answer.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that one.
Me either.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, good. We have dropped a lot of information about progress, and people that hear this can see how they can progress.
Yeah, and I hope they get to ask questions, because I would love to talk more and actually try to be an example.
I just hope that we hit the main questions, because I mean, like, one of the main questions that I keep thinking about is, how do you fall in love with progress? Because there's so many people impatient. We've been in there, all of us, we've been in that stage where we were just very impatient. We just want the results very quickly. And that was one of my struggles, where I'm envisioning myself being there, but I'm like, damn, I got to do all this to be there. That's why the minute I found a strategy to fall in love with the progress, it changed everything.
I can completely agree with you on that one, Steven, because I'm still actually working on that, because I'm not perfect, and I know that I still have a lot to implement because I'm only 18. But it's just with patience, that is definitely my weakness and all stuff, because like I think of a whole bunch of things, because my mind be like going crazy, and I'm always thinking of different things to improve on, or just doing different things that can actually help out my business itself. And I'm just always like, let me do this, but it's just like you have to be patient. Things don't come overnight and all that stuff. It's just like you have to really like step outside your comfort zone and actually see how everything can go, and actually sometimes it could actually be better if you waited it out than actually jumped on. It's almost like stocks, you have to definitely be patient, because you can sit there and be with one, and then all of a sudden it goes up maybe $2, and then you're wanting to jump on it and sell it, because you just gained about $200, maybe however much money you put in there. But then if stay out for like that 5 years, you never know, it could have gone up to $200 more. So it's just like having that patient mentality and that way of pursuing something is actually very good, and I'm actually in the middle of working on it. And I mean, I'm definitely improving day by day, because I'm actually using basketball as my practice way of doing it, and school, and just certain things that I'm able to implement and actually try and help out myself on patience, because that killed.
P.S. for everyone that's listening to the podcast, don't just yet. Don't do it. I don't know when Julio's gonna be posting this podcast, but don't.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Will you
say it again? You
don't what?
Don't buy any stocks yet.
Oh, that was the same that I was gonna say. Because let's say, for example, you buy a stock today and hoping it for going up, it's gonna keep going down. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Until we don't have information that it's gonna go up, don't buy it. Don't buy it.
It's like, I think people like they listen to this podcast depending on when you post it. I know there's a lot of negativity on the world right now, like from all the things that's happening. You may have someone, or you may know someone that got infected by this, and it's just a lot of pressure in the people's minds, and you're losing a lot of energy on letting this affect you. I think that you should have time to get this time and find things that you want to improve on. Think about how you're going to start improving them, and take this time wisely.
Yeah, bro. I was gonna. Now that you say that, right now, for the things that are gonna happen, is the perfect time so you can progress. Is this time to invest in yourself, read more, replan yourself, rethink, do all that, you're gonna have a lot of time. The time that you never have, you're gonna have it.
Yeah, and I hope they find the cure. I hope they find a vaccine for this dangerous virus that's been going on. But I truly believe God put gifts as well. He gives us gifts all the time. And honestly, I think we should, like I said, take advantage of whatever's happening right now to just focus on ourselves and focus on your family as well. Make sure that they're good and keep everyone kind of, in a sense, have a sense of gratitude for the things you have, because other people don't have it. Have a gratitude that you love your wife, you love your cousin, your brothers and sisters, and then at the same time reflect on yourself and see what you want to improve on in your life, because this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, bro. Just to let that people know, Angel had to leave. He had an interview tomorrow, so he had to leave. Sorry.
He had to left.
Can you master? Let's say it this way. Can you master progress? Can you really do that?
Master progress. I think you can. Maybe not. I mean, this is my opinion. Like I feel like there's a certain limit when it comes to progress. Kobe couldn't. I don't think he could have mastered progress because he did everything he could have, put his body and mind all into just progressing in basketball. That helped him throughout life as well. But I think that there's certain levels to this, and there's probably no peak. But there's a potential peak that humans cannot pass when it comes to progression. But I think there isn't a peak for progression. I think that's my opinion, because if someone could progress fast, really fast, then we would have someone that was a billionaire by now, like more than $1 trillion. But there's no one in the world with that type of network. So I don't think that progress. You can master progress. You can have a good foundation. I feel like you can have a good foundation of progress that gives you results, but you can't go over a specific line.
Yeah, I agree with that one, because I definitely don't think that having the ability to like completely professionally progress there's just no way.
Yeah. And look, honestly, like I like that question, because a lot of people ask that question of like, okay, I'm gonna have to master progress. No, you don't have to master progress, but have a foundation, a good foundation, where you're getting a lot of practice into the specific thing that you're practicing and getting results from it. The minute you start getting results, you start noticing. Especially, look, compare yourself. Comparing is not good, but compare yourself to your own mentors. Like if you have mentors, compare.
Yeah.
Like, did they progress this fast very quickly? And if they did, you probably know something that you don't. So go grab that. Go grab that strategy, so that way you can progress the same speed as them. You know. But like I said, there's definitely a line that you cannot pass.
Okay, I have another question for you guys. Do you think that people can learn some habits to progress technically?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, okay, so people make habit of, let's say it this way, of reading a book every single day. They make it
strategies of progression.
So yeah, I was about to say, it just depends on what kind of habits are you trying to implement. Because if you do good habits, then obviously it'll do good. But if you do obviously bad habits, it's almost like me reading a book every single day. That's a good habit. But then if I'm sitting there buying cigarettes every single day, that's a bad habit.
I get that. Yeah. So I'm talking about more like strategies than habits.
Of course, if you do a good strategy, like let's just say, drawing every day, that's a good strategy and a habit per se, because if you're doing a business, then you're obviously able to create different ideas and designs.
Yeah. So wait, are you asking if there is, or what are you asking? What are the strategies?
No, if they are, and if we have strategies. What are the strategies, for the audience?
Yeah. So I definitely agree with Cole that there are strategies, and there's beneficial for some people, and there isn't for others, depending on who you are. But definitely, you have to figure out your mind. You have to figure out other people's mind. You have to figure out how the mind works and how it learns. And when you realize how it learns, now you could start implementing strategies like this. For example, Cole noticed that he cannot read. He doesn't like to read, right? So he listens to audio, right? So not every strategy is going to work for you. You got to figure out what type of mind you have.
Yeah, so what you're saying is technically that every single people have to learn different strategies so they can progress.
Well, not necessarily learn every single strategy. It just all depends on what you're trying to persuade. Because if I'm trying to persuade about, okay, let's go recycle and all that stuff, I'm trying to persuade recycling rather than, going out and throwing trash. So it just depends on what exactly are you trying to implement, or are you trying to strategize, or are you trying to, motivate? It's just, it just really, really depends on exactly what you're trying to, persuade and actually pursue on your ideal image. So that can go a long way.
Yeah. Steven, you there? Don't tell me.
You guys hear me?
Now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I was trying to say, I don't know, what was the last thing you heard from my part?
Nothing. We didn't hear nothing.
Oh, really? For the past 5 minutes?
Nothing.
Are you serious?
No.
I've been talking to myself this whole time. But anyways, okay, so what was the question?
Okay. So technically what you were saying is that every single people have to learn different strategies so they can progress.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that was the question, right? And what I was saying, I have to repeat myself. What I was saying is that every person is different. You got to figure out how your mind works. You got to figure out how you learn.
That's exactly what I was saying. How other people
learn, right? So for example, if you're a natural introvert like me, I'm gonna have to develop different strategies from someone that's an extrovert, because my mind doesn't work the way their mind, right? So my strategies of progression is gonna be definitely different from him. For example, one strategy that I use that other extroverts don't, because they just can't, their mind is not built that way. I read books. I take my time to read, and that's a strategy of progression. Reading books, you're feeding your mind with knowledge. An extrovert, he's more likely to hear an audio, right? So same goal, but different strategy when it comes to progression. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like it just depends. It depends on who you are as a person and how you work.
Exactly. So that was what I was saying. Every single people is different. So they gotta make new strategies for them, or learn for people that are, let's say, almost the same. Like introverts have to learn introverts strategies, and extrovert has to learn extrovert strategies. Maybe they're gonna work, maybe that is not gonna work, but they gotta try it.
And look, if they're curious about strategies or how to progress, we already said one, which is like hearing or listening to audios. There's plenty of other strategies they could use. It's by a click of a button, they could search all the strategies that they could find. If anything, look, honestly, like I said, if they have any questions, they should hit us up on Instagram, or even, I don't know if they could comment on this specific podcast, but if they can, to comment what are our strategies, depending on who they are and how they learn. But I'm definitely open to just giving all the strategies away, because I know it's gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a pretty good with its progression stuff.
Yeah, it was very good. It's full of a lot of information. There's a lot of information that people can relate to. We ask questions, you guys answers. If people want to comment down, or they want to hit you guys on the DMs, give your handles again, so if people don't know it.
All right.
So my Instagram is nfg_Steven. My Twitter is actually my Twitter is different. My Twitter is the same. I don't know. I think it's Steve852S. My Facebook is Steven Sanchez. That's about it. I don't
Go ahead, Cole.
Well, my Instagram is Cole Avery Castle, and that's basically all I'm really gonna say.
I don't even use Twitter. Like, I don't even know why I didn't say anything on Twitter.
Yeah, guys. So if you have questions or something like that, you can hit them up in the DMs of Instagram. That's what they got. Don't try to hit Steven in Twitter because maybe you're not gonna be able to find him. But that's it, guys. Thank you for listening. This was In The Making. Thank you.